payroll could even go up higher.
Okay, so I wanna cause a shift. I want to shift our thinking as sports fans. So I'd like to cause a shift in how we're thinking about some of these things, because we have gotten trained as sports fans now by management to think in terms of the luxury
money.
tax like it's our luxury tax. Like the Padres can't go and spend more than X 150 million or 175 million because then, or we can't go ahead and have 30 million still on the books because then we can't go and get X guy.
Okay.
There is money flowing into Major League Baseball. And my concern as a fan is not what their bottom line is. My concern as a fan is compete. But you see a lot of fans talking now about how, so-and-so's contract isn't worth it because now we don't have any money to spend.
Yeah.
Baloney, we don't have any money to spend. You're getting so much money from MLB properties. There's a ton of money to spend. And single game tickets for the Padres go on sale February 6th. Single game tickets. How many more tickets are you selling if Mookie Betts is on your team than already a pretty darn good team coming up for the season? You're going to be making money hand over fist.
Yep.
So I don't care if the Padres payroll is $200 million every year. That's not my concern, and that shouldn't be any of our concerns or anybody else watching either or following the Padres is $200 million. The concern should be like put players on the field that are you're showing a commitment to winning. Don't give me the line called, we can only spend X amount because we can't afford it. Then why are you in this game to begin with? So I think we need to cause that. I hear too many fans talking about that now, like, the Mariners. Well, we're only going to have a $60 million payroll this year because that's all we can afford. All we can afford? No, you can afford a lot more than that because you're going to get that amount of money or some portion of that already from just MLB's properties online.
So then if we're just looking at players if we're looking at players and not money, I absolutely want 1 year of Mookie Betts instead of 3 years of Will Myers.
And you should.
Done. But game over.
Even if you're only losing $10 million of Myers' contract. Yeah.
You're using a formula
that point I take
that's used in the NFL. In baseball, it's not divided by 32 teams. It's your own it's your own deal. I mean, I've heard this year in the winter meetings that teams are outraged that the Yankees are thinking because they repurchased back the Yes Network, and they formed a deal with Amazon. They're gonna have their own network on Amazon, and then their own network on Sirius Radio, and the other teams are like, what?
Well, you control your own broadcast rights like that. I'm talking about, though, Major League Baseball has done an outstanding job on the streaming side and on the whole web side of things and creating a whole revenue stream there that is divided equally amongst the 32 teams.
I don't think it is.
You don't think it is? It's
No.
still
It's not like pro football.
It's still portioned, but the web piece, not the Yankees broadcast rights versus the Padres broadcast rights.
I meant gear too. I think it's buyer beware. It isn't. If you make $1 off if I sell a Tony Gwynn jersey, here in San Diego, off the MLB website, it's your whatever you can generate. Good luck to you, and you'll get a portion of that. But not everybody gets from the same pie.
But why have we bought in as fans to that management line called, we can only spend $120 million this year because that's all we can afford, and then we start spouting that as well.
Built this threshold where, if you spend this certain amount of money, then you're going to get taxed on it. And
yes.
Really, what the owners are mad about is. Okay, you get this threshold, we throw the money into the kitty for a penalty, and then it's dispersed down to the lower level teams, but they've never seen the lower level teams, actually spend. What is it? The Pittsburgh Pirates, what have they done to make themselves better?
Right.
They just traded Starling Marte for basically nothing.
Yes, and if I'm a Pirates fan, my concern is not that My concern I should not be spouting the line called, we can only afford a $50 million payroll this year with the Pirates. We should be getting rid of Marte. We should be. If I'm a Pirates fan, I'm ticked off that we did that, or the promise of future, like, we're going to build for the future again. Why am I always on the future train?
There is that, but then there's also, you still have to live within the reality of your team.
But that's like management's concern. That's not my concern as a fan.
No, but it is, as a fan, you're saying, like, hey, if we can get Mookie Betts and get Will Myers' contract off the books, maybe we can get this other guy later on because I know how management works. And if we don't get rid of Will Myers' contract, we're not getting another player next year.
But
Like,
maybe that's part of the problem is we need to hold people. I don't know how you do that as
but
a
even
fan necessarily, but holding management
that's
accountable
the question I wanna
instead
know.
of
how do you hold them
spouting a
accountable?
line.
Because if
called-
I don't buy a jersey, then I feel like I don't have a jersey, and like that only hurts me. It's not going to hurt their bottom line. My, $100,
well, Thomas, you're from New
$130
York.
that I didn't buy.
How does New York hold the Yankees and Mets accountable over the years for?
Oh, you cannot use New York.
But look,
Let's get back
that's
to
been the complaint of
let's
like
get
San
back to-
Diego media
no,
for a
but
long
let's get
time.
back to Pittsburgh
No,
because
no.
New York, you've got
But-
how many millions of people?
But that's been one of the complaints about San Diego media that I've heard from other members of San Diego media,
they
which
don't
is that
hold their feet to the fire.
they don't hold their feet to the fire, and that the fans don't hold their feet to the fire. So there's a little bit of room for management to go, well, it's such a great experience that it's okay if we're 70 and 92 because it's a great experience. So, we're going to draw 15,000 instead of 20. Not the end of the world, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but again,
it is a good
a lot of
experience,
things backed up with no evidence whatsoever. But
I will tell you, the New York Mets get a lot of criticism, and especially last year, when when their fans basically begged them to get into with the Machado because he was just sitting there, and nobody
For
knew
the
at the
taking,
time that the
yeah.
Padres were the mystery team, and they were like, come on, it's got to be the Mets. I mean, they're playing New York, and the Mets were crying poverty, and the fans went crazy.
Yes.
They're like,
and maybe
how
we
can
need
you
to
be
do
in
that.
poverty? You play in New York.
Maybe we need to do that. Like you hear the ownership group saying, Ron Fowler saying, hey, we got to get it done here this year or, in the next year or two.
I don't
But
see a problem with the Padre ownership. They
no,
spend
no,
money.
No, I get that. I'm just saying generally as a fan base, we're making the argument on behalf of management, we should only eat $30 million of Will Myers' contract, when in reality, Mookie Betts is probably worth that $50 million difference just in ticket sales over the course of a 162-game season, plus if they make playoffs, and the jersey sales and everything else. So why am I making the argument for, if it's less
Yeah,
than
it needs to
$20
be
million
half that,
of Myers,
yeah.
then
If
we're
if
not
you
going to
wanna
get
solve
Betts.
the problem, then make an over and under, and you get penalized for both. If your over is like $200 million, like it is now, then teams are going to have to pay a penalty. But if they're under, let's say $90 million,
Oh, I like
and
it.
then
Then
you
that
get a
is
penalty
good.
for that.
Yeah.
And
Ceiling-
I guarantee you'll see money.
A
especially if
ceiling
you're-
and a floor.
And
Write that
management
article,
will
Thomas.
Management will not open the books to the players' union to let them know, well, how poor are you? Like how you're only free agency is not going great. So is it really because you can't afford to spend more than $90 million, or is it because you won't spend more than $90 million? And now you've given the line to your fan base called, well, we can't spend more than $90 million, but we're stocking up on prospects. So one day will be good. And now you're living into the one-day conversation for the next 5 years, 10 years. And I think Padre fans are getting to that point where, and I don't know, you guys have been Padre fans much longer than I have, but how much longer is the one day, right? Is it this year? Is it next year? Do we go 3 years from now and we trade Machado because, we're going to stock up on more guys for the one day that's going to be 5 years from now again? How does that work?
That's what I think. Mookie Betts is in our face one day. Like they're talking about Campusano as one of the big pieces, the catching prospect.
Okay.
He hasn't even played in Double-A. Like he is a one day in the future guy. Get rid of him for Mookie Betts. Like, do it. I'm down for that. I'm okay for today to be the day. Like, let's have one day be now.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Okay.
So I'm with that.